There is another way you can graph equation number 3, y equal mx plus b, or slope-intercept form. We can do this graph quicker than what I did here. And here, basically, I was choosing value for x's, and I calculated the values of y. There's another way I can do this, and that's what I'm going to explain next. The alternative way of graphing equations y equal mx plus b, slope-intercept form, using the same example, but using a different way. And involves identifying who is m and b in the equation. If you look at the standard or the general form y equal mx plus b, the slope-intercept form y equal mx plus b, m is the number multiplying x, and b is the number that is adding or subtracting the x. In my case here, the m is -3, that's the number multiplying x, and b is 1, that's the number I'm adding to the x. And what I'm going to do is still using the same basic idea. I need 2 points to graph a line. Every point has an x and a y coordinate. But what is going to be really quick to do is I already know my first point from the value of b. B is also known as the y-intercept. And the y-intercept is the point that is on the y-axis. So I'm going to have a point on one of the y-axis. So I'm going to have a point right there. Now, remember that a point is made out of a pair of numbers. So I need an x-coordinate. The x-coordinate of that point on 1 on the y-axis is 0. And what will be the value of y on the y-axis? It will be 1. So b equal 1 really means the point 0, 1. We call that the y-intercept. The y-intercept, the x-coordinate is always 0. So I got my first point. Now I need to figure out my second point. And how are we going to figure out the second point? Like I explained previously, how do you graph a line where you're given a point, which is what I have right now, and the slope? Remember the slope, I'm comparing how the y's are changing against how the x's are changing. So my slope is -3, but I need to write as a fraction, -3 over 1. What exactly that means? That the y's are decreasing by 3, changing by -3, and the x's are increasing by 1. They're changing by 1 more. So I'm going to use the slope to figure out my second point. So the y's are decreasing by 3. So if I start on 1 and I count backwards 3, I will end on -2. And the x's are increasing by 1. So if I started on 0, 1 more, I get 1. Look, I got my second point. Don't forget that the points can be written in table format. And now we're ready to plot. So 0, 1, it will be right there. You can see that point, 0, 1, is on the y-axis. That's what we call it, the y-intercept. And then the second point, 1, -2, start at the origin, go 1 to the right, and then from there go 2 down. That will be my second point. And the moment you have 2 points, you can connect it with a straight line, the same graph as I did previously. And I just want to show you the slope. That the slope, by the way, slanted line, the slope of this line, it means that I can make this little triangle between the 2 points. Starting from the first point, I went down 3, and then from there, I turned to the right 1. I got my second point, and that's up my slope. And you can see the slope is going down, which means the line from left to right is going down. That's why the slope is negative. When the slope is positive, the line will be going up. But when the slope is negative, the line is going